everybody, welcome back to my channel, Fixing It Up with Sandra. In case you're new here, I'm Sandra, and today this is a podcast style episode. We are going to talk about something that I have been so deeply passionate about for about 6-7 years. Whenever Rachel Hollis released her book, Girl Wash Your Face. That was the most life-changing book I have ever read. And it put me on this path that I never even knew existed. It changed my life in so many ways. And now starting in October, and I say we, because this community that I'm a part of, we enter into what's called the last 90-day challenge. So with the last 90-day challenge, it is all about finishing the last 3 months of the year off stronger than you went into this year. And when everybody else is kind of like letting their guard down, just kind of letting loose, it's the holidays, they've kind of given up because New Year's is around the corner, they'll wait 3 months to start all over again. We finish out the last 90 days strong. And this podcast style episode is hopefully going to inspire you, motivate you, lift you up, give you that zhuzh that you're looking for, because this is, again, I can't say it enough. This is something that I'm so deeply passionate about, and I'm not going to make this like a super long video, but I could talk about this stuff for hours. I can tell you all the different ways that this has changed my life, but we're going to focus specifically on the Start Today challenge. So Rachel Hollis, and I know people have their feelings and that's okay about her. If you're not a fan, okay, but here is the practice. So Rachel Hollis came out with a Start Today journal. You do not have to buy the journal, and she will even tell you do not have to buy the journal. You can go to I think it's episode 76 in her podcast, which is the Rachel Hollis Podcast. Don't quote me on that. I will put the episode information to find this in my description box. So she's like, I created this practice. It's my Start Today journal where I write down every single morning. I practice gratitude is what it is. I practice gratitude, and I write down 5 things that I'm grateful for. And I thought, oh, that'd be easy. I'm always grateful for something, especially after I've changed my life with my therapy and everything like that. Well, as we all know, sometimes we just have those kind of days where we're like, you know what, there's nothing to be grateful for. But here's the thing. So when you write down gratitude practice, and she talks about this, don't write down the big things like, I'm thankful, that, I'm thankful for my car. I'm thankful for my friends. I'm thankful for my kids. This is gratitude that we write about the small stuff, the small little stuff that if we weren't paying attention would simply pass us by. And I'll give you a few examples. Like, I'm so grateful when I get up early in the morning before anybody else, when my body says, hey, let's get up, maybe at 5 a.m. And I go straight to my teapot. I'm a tea drinker, and get my favorite Lady Earl Grey tea, and that first sip of that warm tea in a cold kitchen, standing there with the Edison bulb on, so it's like a low light, and I'm standing there and I'm sipping my tea and I'm in the moment, and it's just me and my thoughts. That moment I'm grateful for. It's a small moment. It's not big and audacious, but it's my moment, and I'm super thankful for that. I love when, I'm also thankful for when I go down to the park, and every now and then I can get a smell of the lake. And through different seasons, it smells different. And it's not big, it's small, but I love it. I love the little things. And that's what I'm talking about, the gratitude practices. Even when the world seems like it's against you, when things are just falling apart, find the little things that you can still be grateful for. Because I always say you can hold happiness and sadness in the same hand. You can have a crappy day and still find things to be grateful for. And when you find things that you are grateful for throughout the day, it kind of helps you get through that muck. Especially like for me, this last year was really hard. It was like the worst country song ever. Dealing with my cancer, my dog died, my daughter suffered a mental breakdown. It just seemed like it wouldn't stop. And every day, I'm like, okay, this is what's happening to me. But let me just say that the world is still beautiful. I still find reasons to get up out of bed every morning. And it's just a great way to keep your heart just not full of joy, because there's a little bit of joy every single day in our hearts, And so before that, again, I would be like, oh, I'm grateful for this. And I'm grateful that, I made this much money, and I'm grateful for my boyfriend. But when I had to start looking for the small stuff, that's when I was like, wow. And it really helped me during the pandemic, because, and I hate to say it, I know the pandemic was so awful for so many people. It was not the best for me either, but everything that it taught me, and then the way that my family came together, my friends came together, I actually found a lot of joy in the pandemic. I had to work for it, but that's when and again, it was really hard too. But I really learned how to practice gratitude through the pandemic. And so that helped me. So anyways, you can grab a notebook like she says, and just every single day, write down 5 things that you're grateful for from the day before. Okay. And then what you do after that, and I'm going to show you a blank page. I'm not going to show you all my stuff, but, so here's what the journal looks like. You can grab these at Target. You can grab these online. You can you just Google Rachel Hollis Start Today Journal. And again, she doesn't require you to buy these. In fact, she's like, don't buy the journal. I'll teach you how to do this in just a regular notebook. Go to the dollar store, make your own, whatever. So this is how it looks. So you write down your 5 grateful, 5 things that you're grateful for. And then down here, it says 10 dreams I made happen. Now this really changed my perception of life and everything. And like I said, Rachel Hollis opened this door with just the book. I first read Girl Wash Your Face, and then I read Girl Stop Apologizing, found her podcast. Like, I just immersed myself in everything she was doing and all the recommendations for other people that were doing what she was doing. And it has just catapulted my life from the hamster wheel of, partying, drinking, just this cycle of life that I was not happy with, to I feel accomplished in so many ways, and yet I still have this big future to look forward to. So anyways, so the 10 dreams that I made happen, what it is, so let me just break it down. Like, a dream is something that we aspire to do or be, okay? And then a goal is when you actually put plans to that specific idea. So it's one thing to have a dream, but then it's another thing to have a goal. And so you take that dream, turn it into a goal, and then break it down and figure out how you're going to achieve it. And I mean, break it down until like it is itty bitty, to where you're like, you have it step by step, and break it all the way down. We can get into that at a later episode. But when you write your dreams down, you want to write them down as if they've already happened. Because it's one thing to say, let me just grab, I'll tell you one of mine, okay? Which one am I going to share? Okay. I am an exceptional girlfriend. That's one of my goals, because my relationship means so much to me. My boyfriend deserves the best of me, always. And that doesn't mean that I'm always I'm always like, ta-da, I'm the best girlfriend every day. But every day I aspire to make him happy, to be that person that he wants to be around. And he does the same for me. Before people are like, he does the same for me. He's the most incredible human being in the whole wide world. But one of my dreams is to be an exceptional girlfriend. And I'm like, okay, how does that happen? How does that work? And so I break it down to all these little things, and I chip away at it, slowly. And so I always want to be that person for him. So that's one of the goals that I strive for every single day, is to be an exceptional girlfriend. And I always know the areas that I could work on. I'm like, oh, am I lacking in this? And I believe all relationships deserve the best of you. You can't give the best every single day, but I am somebody who values my relationships. And so it is something that is super important to me. And I work hard at all my relationships, and I work on them at different levels. Every day is different, but I always try to be my best in that day. So anyway, yes, that is one of them. And let's do another one. I've been writing in these journals for that many, like I said, however long I discovered that book when she came out with it. And I have achieved some of these dreams, like my business. I wrote for years. I own my own business. I never knew how I was going to own my own business. I was like, I was a waitress at one of my favorite restaurants. It was the most, it was the most magical place to be. It was an amazing place to work. And I was so proud to be there. And I was there for 5 years up until the pandemic. But anyways, during that time, I'm like, how do you even start a business? And that's when I immersed myself into business podcasts that I didn't have any, some people would say I didn't have any business listening to, because one, I didn't have any kind of product. I wasn't an entrepreneur in any sense of the word. I didn't know where to start. I didn't know anything, but I kept listening to all these business podcasts, and I was like, someday. And when this opportunity landed in my lap, I jumped up and I was like, guess what? I'm ready. I'm ready to start my own business. I don't really know how, but I've heard enough people talk about this to where I believe that I could do this. And that's how this happened. And so I was able to achieve one of my dreams. And maybe this is the example that I should have led with this instead of I'm an exceptional girlfriend, but I am very proud of wanting to achieve that. But that was one of my dreams. And when you say it as if it already happened, here's the thing. Let me backtrack on that, because I started to talk about that before. You don't just say, I want to own a business, because that's just something that we can throw in the air and say, I want to XYZ. But if you say, I already own my business, then it kind of puts a little bit of power behind that. I'm going to make this happen. And think about it. When you start saying, I own my own business, or I am an exceptional girlfriend, or I do XYZ, you now give this dream goal power to it, because now you're starting to believe it, because you are speaking it into fruition. You are putting that energy out into the universe that this will happen, because I'm saying it has happened. And so when you say it as if it's already happened, you become more motivated, you become more empowered, you become more just focused to make that dream come true. And you will, like I said, break it down into what the smaller steps need to be in order to achieve that. So I always like to, like Rachel said, speak your dreams and your goals as if they've already happened. And there is so much, right now my head is scrambling to tell you all this information about the Start Today journal, that if this is something that you're like, dude, this is what I need to do, this is what I want in my life, I don't know if I could do it for the 90 days, But let me just dip my toe in this water that you have been sitting in, and you can check out the Rachel Hollis podcast. The Start Today. She just started the Start Today podcast, and so with that, at the very end, at the very bottom, it says the goal that I'm going to achieve first. And like Rachel said, what is the one goal that you could write down that you're going to work on, that you're going to break down to make happen, that can make all of this other stuff fall into place? Like if my business makes $100,000 in a year, almost all of these will just kind of fall into place, because a lot of them have to do with maybe a little bit of financial help or whatnot. Maybe I could have my 2 employees, and then maybe I could take that trip to Magnolia, and then maybe I could do this. So I always want to work on the one dream that could kind of make all of this kind of fall into place. And so with that, so I practice this every single morning. Every single morning, I write down the same dreams every single day. What am I working on? And like I said, writing it as if they've already happened. I put that power, I give those words that power, and I repeat them like a mantra. I'm like, this is what my life will be. And picture yourself in that space. Picture yourself what it would look like if that really did happen. And I mean, like Rachel said, what does it look like when you wake up in the morning? Who are your friends? What are you eating? What do you wear? What do you drive? Where do you live? Picture yourself in those moments. And so in the last 90 days, it started October 1st, even though October 2nd was technically the last 90 days. She used to have these 5 things that it was kind of like the New Year's resolution, but you started doing these 5 things in these last 90 days, because remember, we're going to go into these last 3 months of the year during the holiday season, when everybody's given up, when everybody's just like, we're done. We've worked hard for the last 9 months. It's the holidays. Let's just let everything go and just enjoy. And we're like, yes, but we are going to kill it in these last 90 days. And one of the 5 things, when you Google like the Start Today, is wake up an hour earlier than you normally do. And again, like Rachel has said, there are exceptions to the rule. If your schedule doesn't allow it, or maybe you're a new mom, or maybe like you have like whatever. But if you are able, wake up an hour earlier than you normally do, to have that moment for yourself. Whether you take that time to read a book, maybe that's when you do your journal, maybe you take that sip of warm tea standing in the cold kitchen with your light on, whatever you want to use that time for, but make time for yourself. And that means possibly waking up an hour earlier than you normally do. I love that. The second is, of course, write in your Start Today journal, practice your gratitude. All right, we had to cut because of the noise out there. But anyways, so like I said, practice gratitude. Wake up an hour earlier. Drink enough water throughout the day. And I hate when people say, oh, you have to drink a gallon of water a day, or drink half your body weight in water, because everybody is different. But when you need to drink more water. So you drink that water. It is good for you. It is good for your skin. It is good to stay hydrated. Do not ignore your body, and you will feel good. And then 4th, move your body however you can with what you got, where you're at, for at least 30 minutes in a day. Move your body, get up, stretch. Even when I'm here sitting at my desk, I'm just like, okay, stretch, 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 stretch. And if you're like, I don't know how to stretch my body with how I am or whatever, go on YouTube. Because I'm not a yoga person. I'm not a Pilates person, but here I can kind of move my body, but I'm like, how should I move it? YouTube, free, and there's lots of information on there. So that's 4. And then what was the 5th one? Give up one category. And I say one category, let me just back that. Give up one not so good habit for the last 90 days. And that could be as simple as not going to bed without washing your face. That was one of my very, very first habits that I did in the last 90 days. I was so bad about going to sleep with my makeup on. Oh my Lanta. I cannot believe that I actually ever did that. Now it's cringeworthy if I'm laying in my bed asleep with a full face of makeup on because I'm that tired. And it says like, or they say it takes like two weeks to make, or to create a habit. It takes a month to create a habit and then 90 days to make it a lifestyle change. But yeah, just do something that positively impacts your life for the last 90 days. And again, it could be anything. It could be that just I get up an hour earlier than everybody else because I want a little bit of time to me. Maybe that's your thing. Instead of sleeping in. So anyways, those are the last 90-day that's for the last 90-day challenge. I'm going to kill it. I'm going to be writing in my Start Today journal. I'm going to be giving up one thing, which is I'm not even going to take a sip of a soda, which I started taking little sips here and there. And I really am embracing this blue zone lifestyle. I do want to have a long, healthy life, even though right now we're battling cancer. I want to feel good. I want to be able to move my body how I would like to when I'm 70, 80, and possibly even 90. I really want to be just good to my body, and I'm not going to break this promise about sipping on soda in the last 90 days because it's just 90 days. And what I do is I break it down by week. Get through this week without drinking a soda. Get through the next week without drinking a soda. I do have alternatives, but yeah, that's my thing. That's my jam. I'm getting up an hour earlier. I just want to kill it in these last 90 days because I don't want to lose all of the hard work during the holiday season that I did, these last 9 months. So anyways, that's my Start Today stuff. If you have any comments or questions, or you're like, where do you get where do you listen to the podcast? What books? All that other fun stuff. Let me know in the comments. I hope that maybe this inspired you, maybe motivated you. Maybe you're going to do the challenge with me. I'm going to talk about this on my Instagram stories and post because I haven't yet. And I used to be, if you'd go all the way back in my feed, in my Instagram feed, every single day I used to write like a little quote for the Start Today stuff. And I really miss that time in my life. And this is pre-pandemic, but I really miss it. And I'm so glad that Rachel Hollis has brought this back because I really enjoy this. I really enjoy looking forward to something every single morning that puts me in a good, on the good path. It kind of like, okay, here's where we're going to go. It kind of gives me a direction and a way to stay positive, even in the funk. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this podcast style video, and don't worry, we're going to still be crafting. But like I said, I wanted to talk about some things that are dear and close to my heart. And this is one of them. This was life changing. And maybe one day I'll tell you about my old life because it wasn't too long ago. It was about 10 years ago. And a lot can happen in a decade. So anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I'm going to start my journal. I'm about to go down to the park and walk a lap and move my body for at least 30 minutes today. And yeah, I'll check back in with you guys maybe in about a week to just see where you guys are at. And hopefully I will be hearing from you guys in the comments below. So anyways, thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you soon.